Welcome to a malfunctioning new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. If your air conditioner goes on the fritz, or your washing machine blows up, or your video recorder conks out, before you call the repairman, turn on all the lights, check all the closets and cupboards, look under all the beds. 'Cause today, we're talking about Gremlin. Gremlins are an American subcompact automobile introduced by AMC in 1970. Manufactured and marketed... Wait. It's what? Oh. That makes more sense. Gremlins are mischievous imp-like creatures that are very skilled in all things mechanical and electrical. The idea of them started around 1917 when the British Royal Air Force had a slew of problems with their aircrafts and couldn't pinpoint the cause. It's believed that the name Gremlin was first coined in 1939, essentially finally giving a name to whatever boogeyman, fairy, spirit, scapegoat was causing issues with their planes. Some sources believe the name Gremlin comes from the outdated word Gremlin, which meant to hex. While they started out as basically an urban legend for military members to blame loose bolts or faulty engines on, Gremlins quickly took on a lore of their own, with some tales inserting them retroactively into historical events, such as Gremlins being a guiding force behind Ben Franklin's famous electricity experiments. Stories even tell that Gremlins used to aid humanity with machines until they were tired of not getting any credit, leading to their mischievous ways. The peak popularity of the Gremlin myth was in World War II, and the mechanical imps went on to appear in several facets of pop culture. Novels like Roald Dahl's The Gremlins really brought them into the public eye. One of the most famous Twilight Zone episodes, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, featured a young William Shatner trying to warn people about a gremlin on the wing of a plane, which got parodied in an iconic Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode. And speaking of cartoons, Gremlins even went on to be one of the few forces capable of outwitting classic animated trickster, Bugs Bunny. And of course, video games. Like Megami Tensei. Obviously. But I think we can all agree that the most well-known Gremlins are those from the 1984 comedy horror film, Gremlins. And Gremlins 2, the new batch, I guess. While the films had their own take on the origins of the creatures, they stayed true to their penchant for sabotaging electronics. Many people who know anything about Gremlins probably know them from this film series, or at least it's one of the first things their minds go to when they hear the name. Gremlins Compendium entry from Shin Megami Tensei 1 describes them as a malevolent creature that breaks machines. They used to be good creatures that helped with inventions, but when their help went unacknowledged, they turned to playing pranks on humans. They are relatively new demons as mythologies go. Design-wise, Gremlin has had a couple of versions throughout the franchise, with his original appearance in SMT1 just being a color-swapped imp, but getting its own design seen here in Shin Megami Tensei 2. And just what does this version look like? Small, reptilian, red eyes, sharp teeth, pointy ears? Yeah. Kaneko obviously based them heavily on the Gremlins from the movie, which makes sense, as Kaneko has never been one to shy away from referencing pop culture in some of his demon designs. He did include a few nice extra touches unique to this design though, such as it carrying a set of tools as well as a World War II style helmet and goggles to tie it to its origins. Like several other demons, Gremlin's Devil Summoner design became the most widely known, or at least its first Devil Summoner design, more on that in a little bit. This mischievous blue creature may seem incredibly different from its SMT2 design, but still seems to draw inspiration from the same well, as the Devil Summoner design appears to be based specifically on the Lightning Gremlin from Gremlins 2, the new batch. They have similar coloration and features, including an energy-based tail and nearly identical facial expressions. In the Raido Kuzunoha manga series, Gremlins got a brand new design thanks to artist Kirihito Ayamura. In my eyes, it looks like a fusion between Kaneko's Goblin and Preta designs, just fat, naked, mohawked, potato baby things. As far as game history goes, Gremlin has been nothing too special. In fact, they're the first demon I've ever talked about on the show that's never even had a 3D model. Gremlin is nearly always a low-level, early-game demon who adds nothing to the story. Though in Shin Megami Tensei 2, Gremlin does appear as the boss demon at the end of the third course in the Valhalla Virtual Battler. But the truth is, Gremlin's biggest role isn't even from the games at all. In the aforementioned manga series, Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha vs. the Lone Maribito, Gremlins are prominently featured in Raido's first case, where true to their mythology they attempt to sabotage a subway car, with an enormous gremlin being particularly eager to do some damage. But if we have to talk about a notable game role, which we kinda do, otherwise it's not really game history, Gremlin has a minor role in Persona 1, as the demon running the police station where Hidehiko Uesugi is held captive and is responsible for awakening Hidehiko's persona, Nemhine. Or should I say Brad awakens to his persona Talon, if you're playing Revelations Persona like I currently am. Thankfully, Gremlin is still Gremlin no matter which version you're playing. Gremlin also appears in Shin Megami Tensei Synchronicity Prologue as an enemy floating around the second stage of the game. They throw tools at the Jack Bros and often hover just out of range, and to be honest, I'm just happy I'm finally covering a demon from this game because I love it, and it's good to use some footage from it. Just remember the 3 rules, folks, and you'll be fine. Don't get them wet, keep them away from bright lights, and never feed them after midnight. Which I still don't fully understand. Midnight until when? Sunup? Is it just safe to feed them after sunrise? And so there you have it, Gremlin, the mini maniacal mechanical mastermind monster that messes with my many machines. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I'll see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.